It is true that we know more about what is going on the surface of the moon than what is happening within our very own oceans on planet Earth. Seen as one of the most unexplored areas of the planet, our oceans are teeming with incredible mysteries and strange occurrences that have left experts all around the world baffled and amazed since their discoveries. In fact, few of these discoveries are as mysterious in their nature as the humanoid sea people witnessed by numerous historical figures in the past. Referred to as mermaids, these elusive, half-human, half-fish hybrid are at the center of strange sightings from all around the world when discussing unexplainable ocean mysteries. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 6 different ocean mysteries involving mermaids. The story of Captain John Smith. According to old myths and rumours published back in 1849, during the year 1611, as Captain John Smith and his crew were travelling around the West Indies, they spotted a strange creature in the waters beside them. The crew described the creature as resembling that of a woman for the upper part of her body, except with a few key changes in her face as that of her eyes, which were described as larger and more round, a short nose, long ears and bright green hair. The lower part of the creature's body was described as being similar to that of a dolphin's body and not that of a fish or scales of any kind, as other tales of mermaids claim. Interestingly enough, when researchers looked for the source of the tale concerning Captain John Smith and his crew's encounters with the mermaid, they found that the original author for the piece that was later published in 1849 was the author of The Three Musketeers. This has led many skeptics to believe that the stories could have been fabricated. However, at the time, the author was more than well versed in writing articles pertaining to non-fiction, and had even co-authored other pieces that involved true stories of encounters with mermaids. This helps to not only prove the author's fascination with the subject, but that the rigorous fact-checking involved with publications at the time more than helped to steer the author clear from fictitious accounts in his works. Still, to this day, many claim that the account is nothing more than a forgery, despite evidence of Captain John Smith and his crew encountering other strange creatures in the sea and often writing about them. The Israeli mermaid sighting. Back in 2009, there were witness reports coming from the local residents living in the Israeli town of Kiryat Yam that had believed they had seen what they described as a mermaid swimming close to the shores of the town located next to the Mediterranean Sea. According to the reports, a man by the name of Shlomo Cohen was one of the first to report the sighting with his friends. According to his account, they first saw what looked like an injured woman laying on the sand before she quickly jumped into the water and disappeared with a tail following behind. Others claim that at sunset, you can catch a glimpse of mermaids swimming by the shore that will wave at onlookers or get close to the surface of the water to be seen. Interestingly enough, the increased number of these sightings have left researchers in the town wondering what could be causing these strange sightings. In order to get to the bottom of the claims, the town has offered a $1 million reward for anyone of whom can gather evidence as to the creature's origins and likeness. This has led a number of different researchers, tourists, and cryptid enthusiasts racing to try to uncover the cause of these sightings and what could very well be the truth behind the accounts. The account of Christopher Columbus. According to historical accounts, on the 9th of January back in 1493, Italian explorer Christopher Columbus reported to his crew a sighting of 3 mermaids in the distance. When reviewing his nautical charts, it appears that the sighting occurred near the Dominican Republic, as Columbus was still sailing and discovering areas of the New World. Interestingly enough, it appears that Columbus writes that he was not surprised by the sighting, as he had often come across mermaids in the past during his sails throughout different regions, such as that of the coast of Guinea. He did report the sighting to his crew to confirm the creatures in the distance, however, of whom all agreed the sighting as genuine. Christopher Columbus would later add that he saw the sighting as an omen of dangers soon to come, as the existence of the creatures was not that of a good sign. Additionally, Columbus wrote that the mermaids did not look beautiful in nature, and rather that they were similar to that of a more grotesque appearance than usually reported. The account of Henry Hudson. The famous explorer Henry Hudson, of whom would later be the first to journey up the Hudson River, of which derives its name, also seems to come into contact with that of a mermaid creature during his travels. According to his journal, he wrote that during his second voyage back in 1608, he and his crew encountered a strange creature travelling beside their boat. He wrote that early that morning, as they were travelling, 2 members of his crew looked overboard and saw what appeared to be a mermaid. After the crew alerted others to the creature, the mermaid came back up once again before turning over due to a small wave. Hudson and the crew described her as being similar from the navel up to that of a woman, but from the waist down was that of a tail similar to that of a porpoise. The mermaid was described as having long black hair, pale white skin, and a body similar to the size of that of a normal human being. No other encounters with the creatures were reported during the voyage after this initial sighting. The Jenny Han Hoax. Appearing to be a scam that stretched back as far as the early 1500s, the Jenny Han were the source of a large amount of income for those of whom fashioned the creatures to be sold as proof of a small species of mermaid or a variation of small demon. It appeared that fishermen would find a species of stingrays and dry them out to make them look disfigured and of having the same bodily proportions of a man after distorting the creature to look more human. This led many to believe that the dried bodies were evidence of a forgotten species of humans that lived their entire lives underwater, or were that of captured small demons, and would often be sold to the highest bidder of the region, of whom believed that the bodies could be used as a source of great and immense magical power. This led to an early animal biologist named Conrad Gesner, of whom wrote a book titled The History of Animals, Volume 4, back in 1558, in which he draws images of the disfigured creature and reports that they were actually the dried and disfigured bodies of stingrays and not that of miniature dragons, demons, or monsters. This failed to educate the majority of people, however, of whom suffered from illiteracy and continued to develop the lore of Jenny Han Hoax amongst many across the world. People even began reporting that the creatures were basilisks, of which could kill with a single glance, and that is why it is impossible to see the creature naturally in the wild, as anyone of whom has ever come across the creature would most likely not live to tell the tale. Today, it is well known that the creature never existed and only worked as a scam by fishermen into tricking those far more gullible into believing the telltale and paying a ridiculous price for the dried body. This has not destroyed the popularity of the creature, however, as many still taxidermy the stingray and will even dress it up to look more demonic or that of a terrifying monster. The Adaro Myrrh person. One of the darker tales involving the mythical sea creature known as the mermaid is that of the Adaro Myrrh person. According to old mythologies and accounts, the Adaro are described as being more similar in behaviour to that of evil spirits roaming the Pacific Ocean and living at deep depths in the darkest regions of the ocean, though they do share many physical characteristics with that of the mermaid legends. The Adaro are described as looking similar to that of a person, but with large gills behind its ears, a long tail fin instead of feet, a shark-like dorsal fin that can grow into the shape of a large horn, along with a massive shark spear growing out of the top of its head, similar to that of a swordfish or a sawfish. The origin of the creature appears to be far more paranormal in nature rather than that of other means. According to legends surrounding the sea creature, an Adaro is born when a man of evil falls into the ocean and passes away shortly after. This evil then lingers and grows in the ocean, forming the body of the Adaro, of which will continue to grow in numbers. Said to reside close to the Solomon Islands, it appears that these creatures are far more sinister than the traditional mermaid legends, and definitely an encounter to be avoided. But what do you all think of these 5 strange ocean mysteries involving the legends and tales of the mermaids from all around the world? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below, and be sure to share your answers and questions about the video to help grow our community, and share insightful comments about the nature of these topics. Hopefully, as we continue to grow our community, we will one day be able to solve these unexplainable mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.